Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Gland Pharmaceuticals, Gland Pharma Limited, which was listed last year. It's been around 6 months that company is listed. ये जब IPO आया था तो ये IPO hardly 2 times subscribe हुआ था और ऑफर प्राइस अराउंड 1500 था, 1490 to 1500 और लिस्ट अराउंड 1800 के आसपास हुआ था. Today the company is trading around 3300, 3200, 3300 के ब्रैकेट में कंपनी ट्रेड कर रहा है और पिछले 6 महीने में तकरीबन 6 महीने हो गए लिस्ट होके कंपनी हैज गिवन ओवर 100% रिटर्न इन अ मैटर ऑफ 6 months. Now the company is very interesting. It's one of my favorite companies and that's why I chose this company today. कंपनी का बिजनेस मॉडल और कंपनी का ओवरऑल जो आउटलुक है, फाइनेंशियल्स है, बिजनेस मॉडल है, मैनेजमेंट है, ग्रोथ है और जो ओवरऑल उसका आउटलुक है वो आज हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ग्लैंड फार्मा इज acquired by Chinese conglomerate group Fosun Pharma. Fosun International is a conglomerate group. एक Fosun Pharmaceutical उनका कंपनी है which had acquired around 74% stake in 2017. So ये एक ऐसा कंपनी है. This is the only company in the Indian market, Indian listed market जिसका Chinese promoter है. Only company in the pharma space, only company in the Indian listed space जिसके promoters Chinese है, Fosun Pharmaceutical. Company belongs to India. Company का origin Indian है, but it was taken over by Chinese company in 2017. So let's start discussing about the company's overall outlook. Let's start with latest financial results for the year FY21. So let's start with that. Now if you can see in a picture, growth FY20 to FY21, you can see strong growth, 32% YOY growth, yearly growth 32% in revenue. Just look at the EBITDA margins. EBITDA margins are around 40%, consistent. In FY20 it was 39, in FY21 it is 40. So 40% EBITDA margin रहने वाला शायद ही कोई कंपनी मेरे नज़र में तो है पूरे लिस्टेड स्पेस में. और नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन, प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स, नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन इज 28%, कंसिस्टेंट ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ. नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन में नेट प्रॉफिट में 29% है. प्रॉफिट मार्जिन is 28%, net profit margin is 28%. So very impressive results by the company. और ऐसे ही रिजल्ट ये कंपनी कंसिस्टेंटली पिछले कई सालों से देते आ रहे हैं. नाउ इट इज लिस्टेड, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर एबल टू विटनेस दिस रिजल्ट इन अ पब्लिक डोमेन. Q4 के रिजल्ट्स के बारे में बात किया जाए तो Q4 FY21 का रेवेन्यू 40% YOY ग्रोथ. EBITDA margin 40% again in Q4 FY21, Q4 FY20 42% था Q4 FY20 में EBITDA margin. And net profit margin, profit after tax margin again in Q4 FY21 stands at 28%. और net profit growth Q4 FY20 to Q4 FY21 is 34%. So that was broad outlook of the financials of the company. I think this is a stellar financials so far as the pharma space is concerned. Such a high profit margin and such a strong growth across the years in all the parameters. It is very, very impressive. Just to have a comparison in one shot, this you can see. Again, once again you can see the parameters and you can see that the debt on the company is negligible. It's basically you can consider it as zero. Again, this chart shows the broad financial parameters in a graphical format. Again, you can see the EBITDA margins, revenue from operations, the growth of the revenue, growth of the EBITDA margin growth. That also, see, it's noticeable fact is that the margins, EBITDA margins are also growing consistently. Margin growth भी company दिखाता है, मतलब that is very impressive. And profit after tax, again इसका एक profit after tax का एक margin around 30% है. Consistently, this financial year they have shown 28%. But somewhere around इसका अगर मैं simple words में आपको कहूँ तो 30% net profit margin and 30% growth in the revenue. ये इसका simple equation है 30-30. 30% growth in revenue and 30% net profit margin. Now this picture shows you the cash position and bank balances of the company. You can see the company is comfortably can sustain for a long term without taking any debt. And also I would like to highlight that company has a very strong capex going on right now also, and in coming 2-3 years also company is going to spend on a capex, capital expenditure company का हर साल in the bracket of 100-200 crore रहा है, और आने वाले 2 सालों में भी कंपनी का प्लान है तकरीबन 200 करोड़ कैपेक्स के ऊपर खर्च किए जाने वाले. Now let's move towards the little bit fundamental analysis of the company. Now the company is in the pharma space and has capacity of producing 75 crore vial units. Now it has 22 production lines for formulations and finished formulations, and also apart from this company operates in API segment also. They have 3 API facilities, and now about these 3 API facilities I will discuss later in the same video. Now this picture shows how the company is positioned globally. You can see the manufacturing facilities are approved by US FDA, Canada Regulatory Authority, Switzerland, Australia, Germany, South Africa, Brazil and so on. But the noticeable fact is that highly regulated markets such as US, Canada, Germany, WHO, you can see that the company has approvals from these authorities for all their manufacturing facilities. As I said earlier, the company is promoted by the Fosun Pharmaceuticals. Again, as I am discussing the fundamental part, so here comes the Fosun Pharmaceuticals. The company, the Fosun Pharma, is a global player in pharmaceutical industry and has expertise in R&D, and apart from that, a value chain expanding across all the geographies. Now these are the details of facilities of finished formulations of Gland Pharmaceuticals. These facilities are around Hyderabad and surrounding region. The company operates mostly in injectables and liquid vials, and also it is also in a pre-filled syringe as well. And for that sake, the company is the first company in India to receive FDA approval for this liquid pre-filled syringe. These are the services offered by Gland Pharmaceutical. You can see, we will not go in very technical aspects of this, but these are the broad services. You can see PFS, pre-filled syringes, vials, and so on. There are so many, and contract research and development and out licensing of products is also a part of this their portfolio. Now as you can see in this picture, the company operates majorly in B2B segment. B2C segment of the company is only active in case of India as a geographic region, but apart from that, company has major exposure to the global, the other countries. It's basically a pure multinational company which receives majority of its revenue from exports. And a B2B segment, it majorly operates in B2B segment, and that's why I'll discuss about what are the peculiar competitiveness of this company also. But because of this B2B segment, company is able to retain the growth as well as the higher profit margins. Now let's go through some of the strengths of the company or some of the unique points of the company. As you can see, Gland's B2B model, salient features of this B2B model. First, steady cash flow, better profitability, margin stability. As we have noticed in the financial results, the profit margins or EBITDA margins of the company are quite stable as compared to other players in the pharma space. Lower working capital requirement, formulation pricing risk is relatively low, and lower R&D litigation risk. So these are some of the points which are on the side of Gland Pharma. Now let's go through some more interesting parameters of the company. The vertical integration as a differentiator. That means the company would like to command the complete value chain rather than depending as we know that a majority of our API is imported from China, but company has created their own vertical integration through which it produces their own API requirements, and that's why the unique factor is that this vertical integration allows company to create entry barrier for other players. These API material is difficult to source, have risk of uncertainty and cost implications. So company is not taking this risk and creating its own API facilities and own API material. Supply chain efficiencies. Efficient supply chain management with the focus on optimal inventory levels and economic order quantity allows company not only to function smoothly but also to maintain profit margins at all levels. Now this is the geographic breakdown of the company's revenue for FY21. As you can see, 61% of the revenue for this Gland Pharma directly comes from US market. India has around 16% revenue contribution, and rest of the world as in apart from this country, US, India, Canada, Europe, Australia, apart from this, whichever countries are there, that falls under the category of rest of the world. That rest of the world segment is very interesting, that I'll discuss just now after this picture. So this is the revenue breakdown. As you can see, US forms a majority of the chunk. 2/3 of the revenue comes from the US. So this again highlights how competent the company is in tackling the quality issues and other regulatory compliances. This slide shows you about how the Indian market is growing. So YOY growth for Indian market for Gland Pharma is around 19%, and Q4 growth is around 15%. Now this shows the core markets. As I said, US forms around 2/3 of the revenue, 61% of the revenue. So this is the growth in the core markets, US, Canada, Australia. This is this year the company was able to register 22% growth in the revenue in these markets. Now here comes the rest of the world segment of the revenue, which is very interesting. As you can see, the YOY growth in rest of the world category is 136% revenue growth. 136% revenue growth for the entire year, and Q4 growth. In Q4, this rest of the world segment grown by 196%. So, and looking at the current situation, looking at the demand for injectables, vials, and all the things which are happening around this vaccination, this company could turn out to be a major supplier for this rest of the world category, including the core markets. This company is present everywhere in the world, but the noticeable fact is that US market, US, Germany, Canada, Australia, such markets which are highly regulated, the company is supplying there and receiving around 2/3 of their revenue from such markets. And also in rest of the world category, the growth is phenomenal. Now you might wonder, the rest of the world might include only some African countries or Gulf countries or some Central Asian countries. No, in fact rest of the world includes Israel, Thailand, Singapore, countries like this. So if Israel, a country like Israel, is importing vaccines, vials from a company in India, that itself shows how competent the company is in their respective segments. This picture shows the track record of the company in filing new molecules. As you can see, in from FY 18 to FY 21, companies consistently registering growth in, of course, revenues, but apart from that, the company is receiving major chunk or substantial chunk of the revenue from the new molecules, new products, which company filed during these years. So, as you can see in FY 18, 22% of the revenue came from new product launch. In FY 21, this stands around 11%. Now, this parameter, according to me, is very important. This shows that how innovative your company is and the innovative products which you are launching. And this slide also highlights the R&D capabilities of the company. See, the company is able to launch the products, file the new products every year. That is one point. And also the company is able to materialize that new products into the revenue stream. This part is very important. Creating cash out of your innovation and new products is equally important, which company is able to do over the years successfully. Again, I would like to show you one interesting parameter of the company. This picture, as you can see, shows the R&D expenditure as a percentage of revenue from operation. Company has taken R&D expenditure as a percentage of revenue. You can see the percentage of revenue, obviously you can see in the picture, but in absolute terms, the company is spending consistently on R&D, and this year, FY 21, company spent 122 crores exclusively on R&D. So a company which is having a revenue of around 3,500 crores, spending 122 crores on R&D. Last year, FY 20, it spent around 92 crores. This year, 122 crores. This is 3.5% of the total revenue. After this, after spending 3.5% of the revenue on R&D, the company is able to register a net profit margin of 28%. So I think from financial parameters, from business model point of view, from management point of view, from innovation point of view, from operational efficiency point of view, this company stands out. Now finally, this picture shows the milestones in last 5 to 7 years. 2019, as you can see, the company filed first product in China. For the matter of the fact, China itself is a very huge market and it is also highly regulated market, and the promoter of the company is a Chinese company. So obviously the Chinese market is also going to open up for this company in coming years, coming months. So this was about Gland Pharma. Video thoda lamba ho gaya, but it is very interesting company and I like this company very much. You also study, you do your own research on this company. And point again I would like to highlight, IPO किसी ने भरा नहीं था, 2 times subscription हुआ था. That means अगर आपने भरा होता IPO तो easily you would have got the shares of this company very easily. 2 times वो जब 6-8 महीने पहले जो IPO का ट्रेंड चला था उसमें तो IPO अलोकेट रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को शेयर्स अलोकेट हो ही नहीं रहे थे, उसमें इसका सिर्फ 2 times हुआ था. So from 1500 to today around 3300, 3200, company registered phenomenal growth in stock price. But apart from that, company is fundamentally very strong, very strong company. और I think ये FTSE के वर्ल्ड इंडेक्स में भी ये कंपनी को फिलहाल ऐड किया गया है. My take is that this company could become India's largest pharmaceutical company in terms of market capitalization. In terms of market capitalization, this Gland Pharma could become India's largest company so far as the market cap is concerned. Thank you for watching this video. Share this video with your friends, relatives and like-minded people, and subscribe to the channel for much more interesting updates. Thank you.